everybody, this is Ashley, and I wanted to spend just a minute giving you some more information about my most recent blog post and product on teaching and using numberless word problems. So as you can see, I've recently written a blog post on numberless word problems, and I'll be honest, the first time I heard about numberless word problems, I thought, there's no way, what's the point? I'm teaching math. But the more I read and the more I researched, and as I tried it out, I saw the great value in teaching these numberless word problems because, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, so many times I have been in the middle of a math lesson and we're working on a word problem and students see the word or the phrase in all and they just instantly assume that they add without thinking even a little bit about what the context of the problem is or what they're supposed to be doing. And they're just going to the operation that they're the most comfortable with or the operation that has been most recently a part of my instruction. And I've been looking for ways to combat this, to allow students to really think about the situation. What is the problem? What are we going to do to solve that problem? Which is why I have grown to really enjoy the use of numberless word problems. So we go through one problem a day with whole group instruction just to save paper and to make it easier on me. We do this all digitally through our overhead projector. You can see right here on the screen what the slides would look like. When you do this, you're going to want to play it in slideshow mode so that you can adjust what problems and what content your students see. So here's an example. Initially, students will see this screen. We're going to discuss what information do you see? What numbers would be reasonable? You know, would 5,000 be a reasonable estimate of how many math problems Sophia solved at school? And we just start working with that. And then I gradually introduce more content. So if Sophia solved 19 problems at school, we discuss how that changes students' understanding of the problem and what information is still missing. And then I can eventually add more content to this. So she solved 12 more problems at home. Once we have this information, then we discuss what potential questions could we ask about this situation. I save the question that our students are going to solve for the very end. So how many math problems did she solve? Then I allow students to actually solve the problem. So you can see through this screen the different types of word problems that I have students focus on. We begin with joining problems with result unknown, change unknown, start unknown. And then we move into removing problems for, once again, result, change, or start is unknown. I have students focus on parts and wholes as well as comparing problems. And then we move into our more multiplication and division problems where students work with equal groups, they work with arrays, and they work with comparison problems through multiplication rather than addition. I have included 5 different practice problems that can be completed digitally for each type of word problem. And each of these allows you as the teacher to change the numbers that you use in the word problems and go through the slides at your own pace. I personally selected my numbers so that I can correlate these lessons with my number talk lessons. But if you want to go ahead and move to larger numbers, that's fine. I just like to integrate as much as I can to get as much out of my time. And I have definitely included a planning guide for you to show how I do integrate number talks with these numberless word problems. I included 21 pages of extra practice with 2 problems on each page because students do need continuous practice. Once we move away from joining problems and we're working on removing problems, I do like to continue to review. Otherwise, students are going to know what to expect and not be required to apply what they've learned through this problem solving. So I want to show you a few other things that I've added to this resource just for you and your students to use as needed. Here's the planning guide that I mentioned. It shares the type of word problem and what numbers talk strategy I use as I teach that word problem or that type of word problem. And it also has a huge collection of posters that you can use just however you want. You can even print them out small to add to students' interactive notebooks or math reference notes, things like that. And then I've also made a types of word problem booklet, which doesn't look great on screen because it really needs to be printed front and back. But in this particular booklet, I have students solve one type of word problem as well as write an example, because I find that when students can write a particular type of word problem, that really takes their learning to the next level. It also really helps with student retention of that particular concept. So please let me know if you have any questions, and I would love to hear how you are using numberless word problems in your classroom and what type of success you have seen with this great strategy. Thank you so much.